The resolution will still have to go to the full House for a vote. Let's bring in Ann Coulter, best-selling author, political commentator, who now writes on her Substack. Ann, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good to be here.
So what do you make of this, of them holding him in contempt for failing to turn over the audio for which they have the transcript?
Well, the most important question is, what was the insult to the eyelashes?
I know. I have to say, it just happened, so I don't have the details about the eyelash attack.
We need some serious reporting here. No, I mean, they're claiming executive privilege. There's no executive privilege here. That's something they kept making fun of Trump for, claiming executive privilege. It has to be discussions. I mean, Bannon actually was a White House advisor. Here it was an investigator opposed, investigating Biden for breaking the law.
But it was a voluntary interview. He didn't have to do it.
Sure, but it's not a top-level White House discussion. That's not executive privilege.
Still a comment that made by the president, right?
But executive privilege is discussions in the White House in order for people to be candid. This has nothing to do with executive privilege. So no privilege. Congress can subpoena whatever it wants.
But that doesn't mean, for example, the better argument to me is the fact that typically in the context of an investigation, you don't turn over all the underlying material in connection with an investigation. The challenge there is they've already turned over the transcript, which cuts both ways, right? Because on the one hand, you say, well, if they've already turned over the transcript, what's the big deal about the audio? And on the flip side of it is, well, why do they need the audio?
Because a lot more people will hear the audio. And
right, because it's political.
Well,
come on,
it's more than that. I mean, it's okay, it's political, yes, but beyond that, I think it is truth in government. Biden did basically, I think, to the normal person, maybe it was a little worse with Trump, but the same thing Trump did that he's being prosecuted for.
Except Trump hid it.
He had classified documents. Okay, but they're very similar. They're not exactly the same. I'll admit that. That being the case, if you're not going to prosecute, I mean, the prosecutor had to produce the underlying information. Otherwise, I mean, half the country would have gone crazy. Wait, you're prosecuting one guy but not the other? Can you explain what's going on? And I think the prosecutor had a totally legitimate argument, even though liberals say this is political, and I don't think it is political, that the prosecutor said, or the independent counsel said, he seems like an old man who doesn't really know what's going on. And in fact, I wish right-wingers would stop making fun of Biden for being an old man who doesn't seem like he knows what's going on, because I think it makes people very sympathetic, and the jury would have been sympathetic.
I want to turn to another topic. I've been critical here of the many times the President Biden has lacked taking action, hasn't taken action on the border, mainly the fact that he could have tried to do something a lot sooner. It now appears he's preparing to issue an executive order to deport migrants once crossings reach a threshold of 4,000 a day, assuming that would happen immediately, considering in April we had 6,000 crossings. And my position is that this is a good start. Are you willing to even give him credit? I mean, the problem that many on the right have is they say, this is political. He's doing this for the, and my position is, I don't care if it's political.
Right.
If he's doing something that's going to help the border, that's a good start, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I'm kind of shocked he didn't do it sooner. I thought he would start early on in 2024 because the immigration crisis is killing him. But I think it's worth saying, I mean, he keeps saying, oh, he needs Congress for this terrible bill. And by the way, it is a terrible bill. I don't know if anyone saying that actually believes that it was a good bill. Right now, under the law, you cannot admit someone at the border who could possibly go on welfare. Well, they're coming across and being put on welfare. You cannot admit someone who has not had all their vaccines. You see, there's an outbreak of measles from the Venezuelan immigrants in Chicago right now. This is in the law right now. You can't be admitted, for one thing, if you haven't checked with the consular office first. You can't be admitted if you could take an American job. You can't be admitted if there's any possibility that or evidence that you've committed a crime. Even if you pass all of that, and 0 of these are doing that, you have to be held before you're released. So I gotta say, I really think Mayorkas should be impeached because they are directly violating the law. And I don't know how many times Congress has to write immigration laws to just have Mayorkas say,
but again, they're not writing the immigration.
They don't need it. It's on the books.
No, Trump tried this. Trump tried to shut the border in 2018.
Tried nothing.
Did he not get shut down by the courts, which was ultimately the Supreme Court refused to hear it when they were trying to say, hey, Trump was saying, I want You not only to be able to apply for asylum when you enter at a proper border crossing. And that sounded like a good, reasonable thing to do. The court said the immigration law, courts all the way to the Supreme Court, you know this, basically said, yes, the president can't do this. And Biden is going to, when he said, I can't do this, again, I criticized him for the hypocrisy, but he's kind of right. He's going to get in trouble with the courts for this.
You're just depressing me over what a horrible presidential choice we have this year. No, Trump knows nothing about immigration law. He didn't try to build the wall. He didn't try to stop illegals. He didn't try to end anchor babies. It's on the law, on the books right now. No new laws need to be written. We need a president who either wants to enforce the law or, oh, I don't know, understands the law.
All right. And stick around. Did you really tell Vivek Ramaswamy that you wouldn't vote for him because he's Indian?
Yes.
All right, hold on, because I want to ask you about that. Back now with Ann Coulter, the best-selling author, political commentator, who now writes on her Substack. I want to get to your take on something that Mitt Romney has said, that Biden made a huge mistake by not pardoning Donald Trump.
Had I been President Biden, when the Justice Department brought out indictments, I would have immediately pardoned him. I'd have pardoned President Trump. I think President Biden made an enormous error. He should have fought like crazy to keep this prosecution from going forward. It was a win-win for Donald Trump.
Kind of has a point, doesn't he? I mean, like, you know, when you actually look back now with 2020 hindsight at everything that's happened, it would have been amazing for Biden politically to do. I mean, the left would have gone crazy on him, but
the stupid left.
Yeah, the far left would have definitely gone nuts. I mean, I heard a debate today on another network where someone from the left's like, no, we never would have stood for it. It's like, you think you're in a better spot today than you would have been if he'd done that?
Yes. No, this is what got Trump the nomination and what may win him the presidency. Yep. For most of the year, I was saying he won't be the nominee and he won't be the president. Okay, now people, it isn't Biden, so much Biden-Trump. It's Trump versus the media, and people so hate the media and so hate these unfair prosecutions. I mean, the first prosecution, I think it was the hush money one, but whichever one it was, I listened to conservative talk radio. 100% overnight, they all said, you have to vote for Trump now to oppose this. And friends of mine who I think aren't stupid were saying that, and I think it's a stupid reaction to have, but oh my gosh, is that the reaction? These prosecutions, and normally I wouldn't give liberals advice, but they hate him so much they won't stop doing this. They will not stop, and it will help him, and it could get him elected.
Could he still, you think, now that we know that none of the federal cases could happen before the election, is there any way that Biden could now say, you know what, I've decided, I'm going to pardon him on all the federal cases?
He should. He should. I mean, you're a very smart lawyer. The only case where they actually have something that's against the law is the documents case, like the Biden thing. You have to respond to a subpoena. You
can't lie.
You can't lie.
Hide
you must
stuff.
produce whatever is under subpoena. Yet and still, okay, that's at least a crime. Okay, compared to what Hillary did, compared to what a lot of ex-president, I'd let him.
It's worse,
but I'd let him off. He's an ex-president.
Well, that's a separate issue, right? And I've always said that people go nuts when I say this. The standard has to be higher.
Yeah.
For an ex-president. Oh, how dare you? You know, if this was anyone else, and my answer is, if it was anyone else, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yes.
It wouldn't have gotten to this point.
Yes.
All right. Now, I wanted to make sure that I understood, because I didn't follow this whole controversy you've had with this Vivek Ramaswamy comment. And I kept saying to my team, I said, did she actually say this? And they said, yeah, she's not denying it. So here's what you said on his podcast last week.
Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian.
Was that a joke?
No, I explained it for the next hour. I guess it's an hour. I should ask him if I could cross-post it, because my subscribers on Substack would actually watch it.
But he's been using this again and again. He's been talking about it, and he
ought to send it to me. He'll get more of it out there. No, I mean, I've said it a million times. I think immigrants should wait a few generations before telling us what to do. I'm only talking about president here. We're the freest country in the world. I mean, look at what they're doing on speech in Great Britain right now, the mother country. We are our right to bear arms, our free speech rules.
So you stand by it?
Yeah, I said I'd vote for his kids.
But you stand by the comment that no regrets, because he says, I mean, this is what he said. He said, Ann Coulter told me flat out to my face that she couldn't vote for me because you're an Indian. Even though she agreed with me more than most other candidates, I disagree with her, but respect she had the guts to speak her mind.
Right. Not racist. Blacks have been here longer than most whites. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with being a citizen for at least 3 generations. I think Switzerland...
Is that the rule? Is that the rule you want? It has to be the 3 generations of...
Oh, I've tweeted that a million times.
No, I mean...
I think that's a good rule. It used to be Switzerland's rule. Even to become a citizen, you had to live there 3 generations. And we have a very unusual country. And also, well, I'm summarizing what I said in greater length. I mean, there's a reason the founders wanted the president to be natural born, which Ted Cruz is not. The president is different from any other position. I told him he could be Secretary of State, he could be a Supreme Court justice, he could be a governor. But for president, I think we got to wait for the 3rd generation.
Did you prepare that line? Did you
no,
know,
I thought of it on the spot.
Come on, you didn't say I'm gonna create some controversy here.
If it was like being back in college where you just make crazy bold statements and then you defend it for an hour.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.